Hello everyone, this is Squatty from Marketing Real Estate with the House of the Week. Up for auction tonight at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. tonight, live auction. Now, this beautiful residence was formerly owned by Kira and Billy Bumfuck. And what happens is they've been kicked out of the property. And they're taking their good time about it. And we've said, not on you, Nelly, you got to get out now. Anyway, let me tell you about this beautiful little residence here by Kira and Billy Bumfuck. In 1854, merchant Adolphus Frederick Freys purchased a 1-acre parcel of land for £200. The land had been sliced off the grounds of adjacent Watonga House, which now forms part of Admiralty House, but then in private ownership. This wonderful residence features steeply pitched roofs, fretwork, barge boards and bay windows. It was passed through many private hands until it was purchased in 1919 for £10,000 by Arthur Wigram Allen. Allen planned to subdivide the land, but after much public agitation, the then Prime Minister Billy Hughes resumed the property for government purposes in 1920. Now, let's have a look at the inside of this wonderful house. As you go through, you've got the main entrance hall. And then just off to the right, there's a beautiful little drum set you can start to play on. It's a wonderful little PDP concept series. Very nice indeed. Now, after you've had a little bit of paradiddling on that little thing there, what you've got now is the little outdoor area there. Now, as you go to the left, there's a wonderful little library, and what goes on with that is you've got a lovely little soda rosewood kit. You can have another little tap on if you like. Oh, it's beautiful. Then once you've had that with a few little sherbet, what you could do is have a little sit down and watch videos of John Bonham. And because it was his birthday the other day. Yeah, happy birthday, Bonzo. And then you go off to the left into the blue room. Now, this has now been refurbished and it's referred to now as the teal room. A little lighter shade of blue. And then what goes on is you go off and then there's the piece de resistance where what you've got is Doris the drum kit. Oh boy, you wait to see her in action. Oh, she loves a good drummer in the saddle, that one. And then you go off and you go through the sliding mahogany doors and then, oh, you got the Pink Princess. None other than the Pink Princess. Beautiful. Now, all of this is situated inside Kira and Billy Bumfuck's house. And what happens? It's all part of the gated community. And look at the gates there. Aren't they wonderful? Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes. Does a bear shit in the woods? Well, tell you what, Grandpa Desiccated Coconut, he's waiting for him to finish off. Now, you better get in quick because he's already in the queue. The old desiccated coconut wants to make a bit of a comeback. Oh, they keep dragging him out of the closet every erection. So what happens? This is tonight, 6 o'clock. You've got Squatty from Marketing Real Estate, House of the Week. All once owned by Kira and Billy Bumfuck. Now, you better get a bit of a wriggle on because there's a couple of interested parties at the house inspection now. We're going to have the auction tonight, auction live on Facebook at 6 o'clock. And then we're all off to Bonzo's birthday party.
We got 4 already, and now we're steady. And then they went 1, 2, 3, 4, and bum bum bam dum. Ba-da-da, ba-da, bum, ba-da, 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 dum. Ba-da, 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 dum. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Oh shit. Da 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 da. Na 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 na. You don't know what I'm on about until I do the later thing. I have it all worked out. My name is Chris Quinlan. Welcome to Melbourne Musos Facebook Live. And what it is tonight, it's Bonzo's birthday party. John Henry Bonham, the much-loved drummer of rock and roll and of Led Zeppelin. Hello. Hello, camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and down there, camera 4, boot cam. Oh, those Bonham triplets, we'll get to them. And so what goes on is I thought, after the sadness of last week with dear Alan White of Yes passing away, I thought, well, it was John Bonham's birthday on the 31st of May. Why not have a birthday party? And that's what we're doing tonight. Now, what can I possibly do as far as this is this beat, this is that beat, that hasn't been done before, okay? I mean, we're talking about like, oh, is he going to do rock and roll again? I've done it before, you know? So on it goes. What am I going to do this one? I'm going to do that one? No, I'm going to try and do a couple of different things that when I see them myself, I go, why doesn't he talk about that? Why doesn't he talk about this? And I'll get a few basics out the way. And I'm going to do a little bit of a lesson, I suppose, on history and albums. And last week with Alan White, I pulled out my vinyl, and I'm going to do the same thing tonight. This album predates most people watching. I bought this, when did I buy this? In the early 70s, about 1971 or something. And I've gone, what the hell? And all that was released in 1968. And it was a young 19-year-old John Bonham who hit us all in the head with good times, bad times. And the triplets, mate, oh my Lord. And what an album. Incredible. So I'll talk about one or two things, especially the Bonham triplets. I'll talk about that in a kind of a different way, maybe. And I'm going to go into that. And then, of course, I've got all the others here, haven't I? Of course you do, Chris. You're a bloody completist. We'll drum for food. So what happens is, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get straight into it. With Led Zeppelin 1, that I'll put up there, one of the things that stuck out from the very first track, Good Times, Bad Times, is the hi-hat, and I'll get it out of the way. This is why I have hi-hat tambourines, and most of you regular watchers of Facebook Live know that I crap on about it a lot. But definition. Get that going. It's the first thing you hear. You know, bam, 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 bam. And then what happens is it comes in, you know. So on. So what starts to go on is the very first thing is when I talk about definition, you've got to remember that Led Zeppelin got big quick. The Beatles, for instance, biggest band in the world, all that sort of biz. But what happened is they were around for a while, and their first single, Please Please Me, sort of went, they released it, nothing much happened, and then a bit of stuff happened, and then it got re-released, and boom, and then they were off Beatlemania. But it took a while. Whereas Led Zeppelin turned up, Jimmy Page had just finished with the Yardbirds, and of course we all know that Led Zeppelin's first name was the New Yardbirds, and still had gigs lined up in Europe, and it ended up being like a shakedown cruise for the band. But we can't keep calling ourselves New Yardbirds, and so it was Keith Moon actually said, well, how did you boys go down last night? Oh, we went down like a Led Zeppelin. And Jimmy Page, I think I'll pinch that. And what happened? Led Zeppelin was born, and they just sort of went, hello, straight like that. And I think most people know that when the Beatles split up, essentially throughout the 60s, it was, you know, pretty much Beatles and Rolling Stones for 1 and 2 in the world, perhaps, you know, arguably. But when the Beatles split up, basically Led Zeppelin. So throughout the 70s, it was either Led Zeppelin or Rolling Stones. They kept breaking each other's attendance records with every tour, that kind of thing. And when they started doing the 60,000 people stadiums and stuff, you know, Bonzo was getting heard, 26-inch bass drum, 24-inch ride. Have a listen to it. The closest I've got is this beautiful little thing here. So you can see me playing quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... But big-ass cymbals, all you get is... Jimmy Page, where's 1, Wally? There you go. Hi-hat, track 1. I often say I'm a child of my time with this. I'll explain it in a second. But as soon as you put the hi-hat in, there it is. Oh, there you go, and there's your big ass ride. There it is, you see. Now, when I say I'm a child of my time, when I was coming up and I started with Harold Ripper at the Melbourne Music Centre, 3rd floor of Sutton's Music, who remembers that, in very early 70s, about 72 into 73. One of the books he got me to get was the Drummer's Cookbook. Oh my Lord! Who remembers this little chestnut? This is my original. And by John Pickering. The Drummer's Cooked, mate, cooked! The Drummer's Cookbook. Oh! And it's just endless 16th notes. It's just page after page. Have a look at this, mate. I usually put it up here, but I thought I've got the vinyl and I've got the book, so why should I? Hey, look at that work with you. Oh, page after page of exercises. You could see Mr. Pickering probably just sat down and did sort of like 20 a day, I'll churn out another 10. But then it gets into 8-bar exercises. Now let me talk about that a little bit. This is 16th notes. This is essentially John Bonham's, this is the thing you hear. So how does he do that with his right foot? 1 bass drum, and what you've got is, that is a workbook, okay? And it just has a smattering of 8-bar things about, becoming melodic and all that. And I'm going to get into one other thing with this too. But what happens is that John Bonham was famous for his 16th note playing, like. And those 16th note triplets, oh my Lord. And I'll get to those in a second. But with the Drummer's Cooked, mate, cooked book, you've got a basic beat. This is the basic beat. Now, old H used to get me to play through this. Oh, you go through those, son, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Anyway, here's the 8-bar phrase. Sorry, I should have gone into it. Get out of the way, hi-hat. There you go. Sorry, I should have put it a bit further over. But what happens, you got the basic beat, right? I've thrown in the rim shot there. Rim shot city. Keep your eyes on a bargain, Marcus. And that's the Evelyn Glennie stick. More so putting it up this week because Dame Evelyn had a beautiful picture taken of her with Queen Liz on her 50th Jubilee. And I put up a post last night. Some may have thought it was a bit gushy. And I went, "Dear Your Majesty, thank you very much for all your service, but I am a signed up, paid member of the Australian Republic movement. And dear Queen Liz, you did such a wonderful job, wonderful service, nothing but class and respect through all the ups and downs. And I know about that, don't you worry, umpire. But as soon as your reign has ended, Republic for us." And thank you, Albo, for putting up a assistant minister for the Republic. How am I doing that with John Henry Bonham? But anyway, there you go. So that's what I thought. Because I'm playing Evelyn Glennie's sticks. There ain't nothing like a dame. There you go. And that's the 16th note with... There it is there. That's the drummer's cookbook. I wanted to talk about that. Cooked, mate, cooked! See, what happens is when you're doing YouTube and everything else, you're seeing all these wonderful people doing wonderful things with their right foot. But what happens is you've got to do the work. It's not just one, just a one-trick Charlie kind of deal. You've actually got to, put the work in. And old H, I had to barrel through this. I just went and went and went. And what he also did, this is the child of my time kind of business, is that the beginning of this book, there's a whole thing about the hi-hat. And what happens is you play it on 2 and 4, you play it on all the crotchets. And John Henry Bonham was famous for doing it on the quavers. So whenever you're hearing a beat, you're hearing... And as the stadiums got bigger, you start to see the tambourine. So it was defying. Big ass wash cymbal. So to go. Now I want to get a wriggle on, I suppose, because I want to try and keep it to the time, and because I don't want to cut anything out, you see. And the other thing is there's a few things I want to do. Now, I'll talk about the 16th note triplets that I've already done, all right? That kind of business there. But when you've got the hi-hat, right, what happens? You start to get this pattern with your foot. So it's left, right, right, you see. So you get that 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... However, because they're 16th notes, you turn that into quavers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Just sit there and read the paper. Do some shit posting on Facebook while you're doing this. Yeah. All in capitals, mate. Capitals. Blocked. Unfriended. Snooze for 30 days. All right, not quite finished yet. So what happens is when you're getting that, notice I'm splash hatting. Now this is the legacy of John Bonham. I don't know of anything where he actually did that. He played the normal open hi-hat, but not the splash hat. But you can delineate different things, you see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, what did I do there? Splash hat, hat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gina, la. Of course I was going to do it. Gina, la, la, breathe. Hey! Gina, sorry, Gina. Gina, la, la, breathe, da, da. Gina, la, la, breathe, da. Breathe, da. Got the old Aussie accent. There you go. There you go. So that's the drummer's cookbook. And that is the 16th notes, a little exercise with left, right, right. All that business. And the Bonham triplets. What you've got there is a combination of things, because what you've got is, with the cookbook, I mean, I said it, a while ago. Actually, Vale the Ginger Baker, Harold got me to start doing like... I couldn't even walk straight to Flinders Street Station after that, And lo and behold, there's Ginger Baker doing it with Ginger Baker's Air Force. I'm going, bloody hell, all right then. I'll shut up, zip it, just do the work. And that's what you do. You've got to do the work. You might have the technique, but you've got to work it. You can work, There it is there. One of the other coordinational things that happens as I'm going through this is one of the things is when you actually see things like the solos and stuff, there's a little bit of an innie and outie. Melanie, one of my students, started giggling when I was trying to explain it. And she just started laughing. I said, what are you laughing at? And I said, it's like belly buttons, isn't it? You got an innie? Do you have an innie or do you have an outie? That kind of thing. I'm not sure I'm going to put them up here. But when you get to I should get some continuity happening. When you get to Led Zeppelin 2, what you have is Moby Dick, and there it is, the classic riff, and then bang, in it goes. And then you hear the hi-hat, and then you hear everything else happening there. And what goes on with that is one of the little tips I can give you, and when you actually sort of see the footage of him playing to a certain degree, the right hand works with the left foot, with the hi-hat. So you get... There you go, make it raucous. Bring in the left hand. Now this is an innie, Buddy Rich. Except he more did the jazz. I'll go back to Bonzo, because it's his party. So you start innie and flick out. I'm not really going to play those two toms tonight because Bonzo's kit was the bass drum, one tom-tom, two floor toms. So that's where I'm going to stick to. See, that's always going, see. So you're an innie, you see. Start with the snare drum and then flick out as you need, you see. Bonzo was a bit of an outie because one of his big licks, of course, was the lick of the century. If you could do that in the day, you were nothing. I've said that many times too. Huge with Ian Pace with Deep Purple as well, but what that is an out. In. See, you're... So what happens there is you got a left foot lead. There you go. And when you're hearing a solo like Moby Dick, or even with Buddy Rich, if I'm going to reference that, he was on the Lucille Ball show once and was trying to teach Desi Arnaz, and he referred it to as the solo. Well, I've got a lot of Buddy Rich in the other room, again on vinyl, and what it is, the early Buddy Rich used to change his solos up all the time, but at some point in the 60s into the 70s, he just did the solo, okay? Look at what I can do here. Look at what I can do here. All that sort of... Look at me hit all my cymbals at the same time. Look at me yell at the band. It's cooked, mate. That saxophone section, mate, was cooked. Oh, the bus tapes. They made a cartoon about that. I haven't seen. I still got to check it out. Mate, you were cooked. Cut that beard off. Son of a bitch. Who's heard it? Go check it out. The Buddy Rich bus tapes. Who's bawling out the band. He'd say, I'm not taking the car tonight. I'll hang out with the band. And as soon as he walked on the bus, everyone went facepalm. Oh, shit. Someone's going to get it. There you go. But back to Bonzo. We're not interviewing that. So that's what goes on, you see. So I've done a few things tonight. Let me go through my list. Innies and outies, layered rock beats. Oh, I haven't done that one. What happens is... What starts to go on is by the time you're getting to Bonzo's Montreux, when you're hearing kind of... You're hearing sort of over... almost overlapping snare drum and bass drum and stuff. And I was hearing that with people like Jack DeJohnette, and one of my favourite drummers in jazz. Very overlapping four-way independent style when you hear him, just trying to find the hi-hat on. The hi-hat becomes another complete voice. John Abercrombie, the famous guitarist, once said about Jack Deasy that Jack has a great beat, if you can find it. Back to Bonzo. But he started to overlay things by the end when they were doing things like, what was the album? In Through the Outdoor, and Coda, which is where Bonzo's Montreux is, the actual famous track, and they started overdubbing the timpani and stuff like that. But you start to get that. And the other thing that you might want to flesh out and try is when you're doing your paradiddles and your mixed sticking, have a little thing. I just finished talking about the right hand with the hi-hat, doing that. Oh, I promised I wouldn't hit them. Ah! Discipline, Chris, discipline. So what goes on is that what you have is the right hand now with the right foot. So you could have these. I'll play a groove. That's not exactly John Henry Bonham, but one of the things is the style. That kind of thing. And you notice. I had again. Now that's a little. I don't say. I'm not saying that that's John Bonham. I'm saying that's a legacy of John Bonham, in the sense that I'm doing that. I've got a splash hat there. He would have been doing that, as you hear in Good Times, Bad Times, all that stuff. And then when you're dealing with things like that, you're starting to look at things like Led Zeppelin 3. And, of course, it starts off with the Immigrant song, the paradiddle straight up, and paradiddle based. And then there's another wonderful track you want to go check out is Out on the Tiles. Oh, the bass drum work, oh my Lord. Oh, there they are, there's the lads there. Oh, very mystical. And, oh, does anyone remember this? You can move the thing around and get up. The little dicky bird in the middle's gone, so, but that's the original. So if you give you, it's wonderful artwork, so you can put it around, and as the holes bob up, you see their faces and all sorts of shit. There you go. That's something that's missed through CD and all the other business, but that's a wonderful little album there. Since I've Been Loving You, I consider that a better guitar solo than Stairway to Heaven. It just, that note that Robert Plant hits at one point, it's just like, oh, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Yeah. And then you've got the classic, of course, and you've got your Led Zeppelin 4. You've got your Black Dog, which is the basic rock beat, essentially backwards and stuff. I can get into that later. Rock and Roll, we've already done, I've done before. I've done Black Dog before as well. But that's a great one. 4 Sticks is a wonderful little thing. Boom, 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 boom. And then into 3/4, 5/4 into 3/4 and all that. But, yeah, there it is. But what I want to talk about now, as I'm starting to look at the time, is Houses of the Holy Air. What artwork they had. That's a whole part of it, is the wonderful artwork that they managed to get out. I could put that, I just put that on the wall. It's beautiful. There you go. I will put it on the wall. I'll put it up there. But now, hey, we got 4 already, and now we're steady, and then they went 1, 2, 3, 4, and boom, 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 bound it up, bound it, boom, 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 sunshine, walking in the rain. I better stop there, I'll lose my audience. Okay, hello audience. There you go. Now what that is if you're counting it out, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd think, oh, they're playing in 15. Oh, my Lord. They're not. They're playing one bar of 4/4 and then one bar of 7/8. And let me explain it to you. So you go, bum, bum, bam. I'll do it basic without the triplets and stuff. Bum, bum, bam, dum, bum, bum, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. So you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and then you have, okay, you've just got bum, bum, ba, bum. You've got 6. You've got essentially 6 semiquavers there. So what happens? That turns it into 1 beat less. It's 7/8. Always remember that when you're dealing with 4/4, 4 quarter note beats in the bar. We know them better as crotchets. 4 crotchets in the bar. But what can also happen is that you can also revert that to 8/8. This is just sort of fraction stuff kids learn at school. And I remember jazz drummer Bob Moses talks about the 8/8 concept in his book, Drumming Wisdom, which is in the other room. But that's what goes on there. And so instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and implies 4 beats in the bar, you're sort of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that kind of thing. So it evens it out a little bit. But that's what goes on. So it's like what happens is that you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1. Now, 3 and a 4 and a is usually a triplet count. But if you go 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1, that'll come out 7 because with the when you're going 3 and a 4 and a, you're still playing, you're still in the time. You're not changing the notes to triplets, okay? You're just using the count. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and dum bum bum. Rum bum banada doom. Banada bada 3 and a 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and banada dum. There you go. And you go round. Well, that's a tricky tune to play, is the ocean. You've got a few different beats. I was in a band that popped up last week. It's just coincidental, I suppose, but I was in an old band called Archer once upon a time. We used to play that tune. And the reason I bring up that is because I did that last week because of Mick Thomas, if you're watching, because he brought up Rock Arena from 1977. And we were rehearsing that day and could hear the concert with Santana and Fleetwood Mac and their cocaine tent. Bottle tops, apparently. But anyway, it doesn't know. And what happens is we could hear it wafting over. And we were practicing the ocean, if you don't mind. There it is. There it is. All right. So, and then when you're getting into the other ones, oh, physical graffiti I love very much. Most people's copy, the vinyl copy of this is pretty wrecked because if you put it back into the record collection, the windows all catch and they get all gungy. But I made the point of keeping the plastic cover, so it's still in pretty good nick for it being 40-something years old. Oh boy, yeah, something like that. When did I get that? When it was released. The day it was released, I think I queued up, 1975. There you go. And then all the tragedies started to happen and all that, but we're not talking about that. But this was their Presence album was wonderful. Achilles' Last Stand, hey, what that track. All the radio stations were obliged, they were that big that all the radio stations who were so used to their 3-minute song were obliged to play Achilles' Last Stand, all 11 minutes of it for a full month. Prog lives. The Object. And there you go, so that's that one. And I've got, now I'm being a naughty boy here, there's the live album, you know, so the song remains the same. I'll cut to the chase now. The song remains the same, beautiful album and all that. When the film came out, oh boy, I think I watched it about 8 times. I remember going to the Track Cinema and watching that with their beautiful sound system. I'm going, wow. And I came out, didn't have any track of time, and it was good old Melbourne 1976, so the trams finished at midnight. And I came out and said, oh, bloody hell, it's 12:30. I've missed the last tram. I had to walk home. Toorak to West Brunswick. I got pulled over by the boys in blue 3 separate times. They did checks on me and everything. I said, can you give me a lift? Nah. I got home near dawn, sort of thing. Hello, Dawn. There's In Through the Outdoor. That was their last album when dear Bonzo went to the Great Gig in the Sky. Then there's Coda, and what a wonderful album that is too. I mean, wow, fantastic. But what I'm getting at to finish off a little bit here is that I've got a naughty bunch of bootlegs, and that's a nice little blank one. What's that one? And there's Bonzo's birthday party. That's what we're doing tonight. Ooh! And the thing I love about this is the coloured vinyl. Have a look at this. Ooh! Look. Blue. Not teal. And orange. Here. That's a great little album. It's the same year as The Song Remains the Same. Recorded in 73. The Song Remains the Same was 3 years in the making, so it was recorded 73 but released in 76. However, there's one bootleg. I've got pretty much a bootleg for every year they toured, pretty much, apart from the In Through the Outdoor album and whatever. But what I had, this one here, there's 2 things I want to show you just to finish off. That's live at the LA Forum, and I've got 2 volumes of this, and there's an Achilles' Last Stand on this, and this is where the T-shirt comes from, 77 tour. Oh boy, Achilles' Last Stand was a little bit all at sea, boys. Oh, where's one? Where's one? Jimmy, Bonzo, give me one. Crash, there it is, Jim. Crash, come in now. Oh shit, we're in a bit of trouble here. And to finish off, that one is wonderful. That's a wonderful recording. I mean, the recording is just a bit naff because it's just your typical bootleg. But at Ball Crusher album, what they did was after they got huge, incredibly huge, all this business, what they did was they did an unannounced pub tour around town, London, and just called themselves another name and just turned up, and people just went, wow, and then the word went out, and then, boom, the pub was, packed, and someone recorded it, and they were on fire. Oh, and there's all these extra licks that Bonzo does on things like Heartbreaker, and Immigrant Song has this whole other thing happening. I'm sure it's there somewhere, but on the YouTubes. But in the day, I'd say, listen to this, and all my mates would be there going, play it again, do that. Oh, and it was just incredible, Anyway, so there's our stuff, and yeah. Ooh, bit naughty, Chris, to have bootleg. Anyway, there you are. And I'm running a bit late, but I wanted to show you those because I love it so much. There you go. And of course, I've got the drum books and everything else down there, all the typical ones. Who remembers this little chestnut? Hang on, for guitar. The first one. Oh, Led Zeppelin Complete. This is my second one, and it's still going yellow because the first one, a dirty little bastard, borrowed it, and of course I never got it back, even though I kept asking him, he kept smiling at me, a little, Anyway, I could call him a few choice names after 6 beers, but I won't. There it is! Who remembers that one there? Second copy, and I keep them very close. And, that's what we had. Learn to redo it. Oh, Heartbreaker off Ball Crusher. What was it again? That also not on the original. He was on fire. Oh my Lord. All these little extra bits. Jim was probably going, keep it simple, Bonzo, keep it simple. But great stuff. And there is my show for tonight. Bonzo's birthday party. And I'll love and leave you. I'm doing all the usual things. I'm going off and going to edit for you, have it all up for tomorrow. I'm 1 week out. Next Wednesday at 10:30, there's a new time. I've got a new season for Channel 31, so my time slot at Wednesdays at 10 have just been pushed back by half an hour to 10:30. And next Wednesday is the tribute I did last week for Dear Alan White. My show's got a bit mixed up because of the election and all that. And anyway, there you go. And I sort of put, the topical bits first, and then Dear Alan White passed away. And I put up all the vinyl for that last week. As a tribute, that will be on at 10:30. There's a new show, Impromptu TV, if you haven't seen me putting it up, and that's at 11. Dear Channel 31 has put my shorts, not these shorts, I delivered a whole bunch of little short bits, and everything was made during lockdown, Melbourne lockdown 2020-2021, with a bunch of beautiful people. When it started, I put out this thing like, I say, look, here it is, everyone's locked down, all the gigs are gone, pubs are shut, mate, and, lockdown 1. We all got through it somehow, I hope, and I would put in beats. I remember doing the Zebekiko, and Marcus came to the party with that. Well, I even did a bit of the hot for the old teacher business, hot for the online teacher, and did that and said, do something to it and I'll put it up. And I did, and I have, and it's starting on Wednesday at 11. Okay, so it's a different thing. It's not all, it's music, don't get me wrong, but there's also those little fractured fairy tales that I do, riffing on Winnie the Pooh and whether it's cooked, mate. And the other one is sometime, as we know, it wasn't all fun and games. So there's a few bits of spoken word by various people or requests of me. So you want me to say it? Okay, let's go. And that. So it's a little bit of a arts show. I always loved the Sunday ABC Arts Afternoon, where you get something like, I'll never forget Frank Zappa with the Norwegian Wind Ensemble. What? Where's that? And then there was a documentary on Lenny Bernstein. And I've gone, what? And just loved it, sort of thing. Always sat down to watch it on a Sunday arvo if I wasn't doing other things. And that is a direct influence. And that's what I do. So, yeah. And now, with everything changed for the better, we're back. I mean, we never left, but we're not going away. And that's what it is. I'm going to love and leave you now. I'm rambling on. I hope you got something about Bonzo's birthday party. Da 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 da. Get smart. I wonder if that's where they got it from. Da da da. Oh, I've got to do it now. Da da da. Down. Da da da. Down. Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. Oh, Max. Cone of silence, Chris. Take care. I love and leave you. I feel like I could keep playing, but I won't. I'll spare you. Take care. I'll have this all up tomorrow. Okay? Bonzo's birthday party. Put on the albums. Oh, we love them. Take care.